Hey guys, this is Samir for ThinkDigit, and today we're going to take a look at the Lemon Aspire A4. In our last video, we showed you how awesome the build of the phone is, and today we're going to see if its performance is equally great or not. To start with, the smartphone runs on stock Android 4.2 Jelly Bean. Its functionality is pretty much what you'd expect from any other smartphone available in the market running on Android, which is stock Android, and it has the MediaTek MT6589 chipset powering it. It would have been much better if the smartphone was powered by the MT6589T chipset, which is the turbo version, considering the display on the smartphone is full HD. Yes, it's 1920 by 1080 pixels. As you can see, there is a slight bit of lag with just navigating the home screen as of now, and there probably are just 3 or 4 apps running in the background. So noticing that so many pixels need to be rendered on the display, the smartphone has just 1 GB of RAM, which is the cause of the lag. In terms of its average performance, it's the display which stands out the most, and it has a stock Android keyboard. So if you're typing a message, not only is the typing experience good because the response of the touchscreen is good, but also the display is really crisp to read on. So as you can see, the keyboard is stock Android and really comfortable to type on. Below the display, you have the standard capacitive menu, home and back buttons. Another experience, which is again courtesy of the display, really good, is browsing the internet. The text looks really crisp, and the display is just a very good treat to work on. You can zoom in as much as you want on the text and it will look crisp and crystal clear. Multitasking on the smartphone might be a bit of a problem. Like you can see, there are quite a few apps running, and as we're trying to clear each one of them, there is a noticeable lag between us swiping the app clean and it actually moving off from the display. In terms of its video performance, the device is great. The speaker is loud enough, and our movie ran pretty well on the phone. We ran an HD movie in the MP4 format and the movie ran quite well. MKV audio was not recognized, and AVI files also ran very well. So as you just saw, a game like Dead Trigger did run and it ran quite smoothly on the smartphone, but we have the Conduit in HD and Real Racing 3, and both these games just hang on the smartphone. They come up to the start screen and that is where they end. So we're just going to show you that.
Some succumb to madness or paranoia. Some disappeared from the world. And others, well, others end up like me. Because I was there.
So as you can see, the opening cutscene does play out on the smartphone, and when it comes to beginning the first mission, we've been stuck on this loading screen, and we've just kept the smartphone like this for quite some time and there has been no progress. See, and we're in a perpetual state of hanging because the game refuses to run even if we relaunch it. There are times when the smartphone has absolutely gone useless and we've had to remove the battery to reset it, but the Conduit just doesn't seem to respond at times. Similar is the case with Real Racing 3. There's a speaker on the back of the smartphone which is really loud, crisp and clear. During calls, sometimes it does feel a little softer, but for multimedia it works well. The 13.1 megapixel camera at the back, and this camera is surprisingly really good for shooting images. In well-lit situations, the images are detailed, crisp and clear. Even in low-lit situations, even though there is slight loss of detail and there is a bit of noise in the images, they are quite good, especially when you compare them to the other cameras available on smartphones in the same price range. The Zolo Play, for example, this is much better than that. It is at par with the Canvas 4 though. The front has the 5 megapixel camera. Another interesting feature about the smartphone is that it has the ability to house a micro SIM card and a regular SIM card. So dual SIM phones these days come with 2 regular size SIM card slots. Here you have a micro SIM card slot, a regular SIM card slot, and the micro SD card slot. The battery is an 1850 mAh battery, and this is where we are going to come and talk about the negatives of the smartphone. So apart from the fact that the battery life of the smartphone is slightly less, in our continuous video playback test it lasted for about 5 hours, but in regular world usage before the day ended, the smartphone needed to be recharged. The battery indicator out here is showing 96%, but there are times when it has shown us a good 85-86%, and 15 minutes later it's down to 56%. So there may be a problem with that, but this is again nitpicking. Overall, if you are interested in buying a smartphone that looks really good and has a fantastic display, you can consider the Lemon A4. We, on the other hand, thought it would have a lot more. It would have some more RAM so that the lag is reduced, and we hoped it would run on the turbo version of the MediaTek chipset that it has. Then the smartphone would be a lot more appealing than it is. If a pure performing smartphone is what you want, then you can take a look at smartphones like Zolo Play, which has a 720p display Tegra 3 chipset and is a very good performer. It runs all apps and games, and the interface is very smooth. The Lemon, however, has a fantastic build, and the display is gorgeous for reading books, multimedia, and just about anything.